Walter Wong, technical lead from Gain Secure. Put your hands together for him. So you notice that weird Apple TV lag thing. It might be because of mobile interference. I'm not sure. So if you really are not using a mobile, just consider putting airplane mode for us. Cool.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hi guys, good evening. It's the first time me to come to the LVL.UP event, and I'm shocked that there's so many people. Some of you actually wearing shorts. I mean, I used to do a presentation a lot in a very formal way. That's why I dress like this, right? But thanks everyone to spend 20 minutes with me to talk about some of these things. So just a question: how many of you heard before Microsoft Azure? Ooh, not bad. How about the next one? The Signal R? 0. Oh, 1 there. Interesting. Right. So the main goal today for me is to explain a little bit on the Azure and talk about the Signal R. So just a bit about myself. My name is Walter. I'm based in Malaysia. So I actually kind of like run 2 companies. One of it is called the Gain Secure. Another one is the Wimprovise. Gain Secure is focused a lot on the enterprise software development, while the Wimprovise is, in fact, is kind of a new startup to focus a lot on the consumer app, right? You have my email there. Feel free to drop me a mail. Feel free to add me into the Facebook. But please don't send me all the junk mail. Don't send me all the Facebook game invite, right? That's fine, right? Personally, I've been awarded Microsoft MVP, right? And as well as the Nokia Developer Champion by these 2 companies now become one. Okay, so I kind of like strip 1 off from my belt, right? So I just have 2, right? But now I only got 1. So, right, let's change here and it's not changing there. Okay, it's there. So just to share with you what exactly is the Microsoft Azure, in case some of you haven't seen it before. So it's a Microsoft offering of the cloud platform, the cloud hosting, and the cloud services. The detail about the cloud, I think you can read elsewhere, because today, the 20-minute sessions, I'll prefer much to focus on the so-called the Signal R. After I finish the Signal R, I come back and explain to you why are we, as a company, to prefer to use the Microsoft Azure, right, in most of our so-called projects. So Signal R, how many of you actually is developers? I assume most of you, right? Right. Okay. It's a library for developer for you guys to create something what we call real-time web functionality. So you might ask, what exactly is a real-time web functionality? In general, it's actually the ability for you from a server to push down to all the clients. How many times you try to do something like a chat program and you stumble across something that is so difficult to do that? If I want to send a signal to the so-called to the server, and the server will able to do some very simple code and blast all the message to all the clients within a chat room. I mean, it's not that easy to do in the web-based. So what happened here is Microsoft come out with this library called the ASP.NET Signal R and make a lot of these things a lot more easy. The reason why we have this one is because a lot of time it's either you're building in a consumer applications, you build like an enterprise application. This is very important. Especially for some of your company, if you focus on the enterprise software, you want to do a live, like a dashboard, like all the branches, when they have a sales to go up, immediately they will send the numbers to the server. So you as a boss in the HQ, you will see like in the big dashboard, what exactly is happening in all the branches. So this type of live communication typically, logically, and what you would do is you put a timer in every client, right? Every 5 seconds you send something back. Every 3 seconds you send something back, right? So this, Microsoft tried to make all this thing a lot more easy by giving you some of this function to build it inside here. And we actually tried it before for both enterprise and consumer, right? So for the consumer software, later I'll do a short little demo that I have to like a tablet here to show how the game is actually work. To further explain the scenario, I mean, before I come here, I was thinking, which is the best scenario to showcase the real-time web functionality. So I'm thinking game, it might be the best one to share with you. So the scenario number 1 is very straightforward. We have a chat room. Anyone here built a chat room before? Either during your college time, the business. It's not that quite easy to do, right? But here, the Signal make it very easy. There's a lot of sample code available. You just search for Signal R and chat room, then you get this result. And what happened here, this is actually one of the examples that I got from the complex. Just want to explain the scenario to you guys a little bit. The first one is, you have maybe 3 or 4 people connecting to the server, right? You have a simple logic. Whatever you type, no validation, go to the server, it just blasts down. Very straightforward, right? But the second scenario onwards is something that I want to share a little bit. How many played this game before? Texas Poker? Are you sure? So little hand? Right. What I try to explain to you here is, if you want to build a poker game engine, you can do all the game validation, the card, everything's fine. The communication, have you ever think how exactly it works? Think about it. A lot of things have to control from the server side. Your client side can't do anything, right? What happened here is, when you started, the game server will push down all the card to you. Typically, you would do is, very straightforward. You can't like build a client, every 5 seconds, it connect back and get the card, right? After that, you actually got more and more complicated things because the gameplay itself is actually rotating from player number 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? While other player, if you send a signal in, is supposed to rejecting your call because it's not your turn yet. So some of these things is not that straightforward to do because you have to manage from the server side and the client itself have to talk to you, right? But Signal R make it different. By using Signal R, they're able to control all this to you within a limited code. In fact, if you want to send like a message to the client, like if you have 10 clients, the code itself in C#, if some of you is not aware that the C# programming, it takes about 2 sentences or 2 rows only. It's quite straightforward to do it, right? So I'll strongly suggest you to take a look at the Signal R. And just to explain with the scenario number 2, first of all, you don't have a very complicated communication because all this game does is just waiting for the result, right? You're waiting for the server to give you card. You're waiting for the server to tell you what other player has bet. You're waiting for the server to tell you some other thing else, right? But what happens here is you have a very complex gameplay, like a logic. The logic itself is something that is not that easy to explain within 20 minutes, right? And in this scenario, you have a limited client, right? Limited client, that means that the game itself got how many players? Only 6 or 7, right? So it's pretty straightforward. It's not that complicated to manage the clients, right? But what happened here is in this kind of game, your server engine need to have unlimited rooms. When you go into a Texas Poker games, most of the time they easily have 100 or 200 over rooms for you to play, right? So this is some of the things that you have to be aware of. And the constraint you have is a timeout. For example, if you are betting, you're supposed to bet, right? And you didn't bet within 2 minutes, for example, the game server is supposed to tell you, you're out. I have to kick you out. So for some of these things, you have to build a lot of logic from the client and the server. But because of the Signal R offer, from the client, they can just tell, from the server, it can just tell the client, you're out from 2 minutes, you have to wait for next game. All of this can be easily controlled by the Signal R. All you have to do, just put a timer on the server. That's all you need to do. Then you have a client filtering and the bet and some of these things. For example, if the game itself got 7 players, If 2 people don't want to go on, you only left 5 players, right? You shouldn't send other signals to the other 2 because they shouldn't get the card, right? So all of this you have to control within the game logic itself. So the next one is something more interesting. It's the most complex game scenario that I can ever think of. They're able to use the signal R. How many of you played some of this game before? I mean, during your free time, right? Right. This is the most complicated real-time web functionality game that I can ever see, right? The reason is because besides chatting, you actually deal with multiple people, right? In the multiple rooms. So, in summarize, I'll just tell you that this is the most complex, like a community game playing. You need to have all the logics, and you're going to have end clients and end game rooms. You can create a lot. That's why I think previously the speaker mentioned about the mem cache. It's very important to some of these scenarios. The mem cache only do all the caching and make it fast in the performance, but you need to use some of these things like a signal R to provide the two-way communication to all the clients and the server, right? So this is actually very, very important. So you might ask me, right? I talk about 3 scenarios. Had I ever built something like this on top of it before? The answer is yes. So what happened here is about a few months ago, in fact, to be exact, it's actually in May, our company built a game called Magician. You can go to the bit.ly and see the game. At this moment, it's only offered to Windows 8 tablet or desktop or laptop. The other platform will come in the future. But what I'm going to tell you is, I need to have a screenshot. One. How can I switch this? Yes. Right. Right. So this is the game that we actually created, 100% built in Malaysia. Again, I'll need to mention the other platform is on its way. I can't tell you the date because we are not sure as well due to a lot of work on our hand. But this is the game that you log in using a Facebook. So we do all the credential check using the Facebook. And what happened here is, this is actually the gameplay. This one we will call it the education and entertainment game. In short, we call edutainment games, right? What happened here is, you just find the 2 numbers to combine and become 18. It's pretty straightforward, right? Right? The best part about this game is, can you see at the lower left here, there's 21 there? It actually means there are 21 players in the same room. They're playing the same board game at the same time, right? So this actually using signal R at the back to push down every time when the time's up is actually have a 1 minute, then it will push down, okay? So this game itself using the signal R with the Windows 8 client itself, and every time you're able to have a result like this, right? So in that case, I'll need to have 2 volunteers because I set up a 2 tablet to give a live demo on this. Can I have 2 volunteers? Oh, that's pretty quiet. You can have 1, yeah. By the way, when you play this game, never means that you can take back my the machine, okay? Yeah, I have another one. Let me open the game. Right, so the game is very straightforward. You just find the 2 number as mentioned here, and just find a combination. And the game is playing halfway now. Need to wait for the next game. Right. I think as one say, I'm not able to do any Q&A. I think I can take 1 or 2 while waiting for the game. Anyone? Anyone want to understand more about the signal and the R0? Oh, because it's playing through, there's 3 seconds, you have to wait. So I just want to explain further about this game is, there's actually one feature that we introduced, is you're able to cast a spell and do a penalty on the opponent in the same room. What happens is you will send a signal to the server will push down and tell them one of the opponent who actually got a penalty. So 2 of my friends here is actually doing a live demo of our games. You can. So 2 of them are playing at the same time. As you can see, there's a 15, 14, it's the same one. So what it does is very straightforward. We just calculate how many mathematic game, so-called the solutions you can fix within a minute, right? You're supposed to tap on it, right? If you think it's easy, I mean, I actually strongly suggest you to download and play around it because we realize that this game itself is a bit interesting, where the combination can be very random. It's not straightforward, just like one with one. Okay. So they are playing the game now, and they can do the compete live. But of course, I'm not going to ask you to play the game for the whole night long, right? In fact, I thank you very much for two of you, and there's a small little gift for individual of you. It's just a small little keychain from our company. Just stick back. Yeah. Thanks, man. All right. I think you should give a round of applause to our friend here to come and play games. Take a slide. So this game itself, I think I do explain a bit how we use the Signal R, how we use the R0. By the way, the whole backend is hosted in the R0, right? And the next one. Okay. Why we use R0 is very straightforward. Pay as you go. A lot of time we try to reduce our investment by buying a lot of servers. First of all, I don't have someone like Garrett to manage all my servers, right? So I leave the expertise back to the Microsoft to handle this. Expanding infrastructure easily. Let's say now I have 200 clients to playing. If tomorrow I got 2,000, so happen with that, I can easily increase the core just like that. Go to the portal, increase the core, pay more money, everything is fine, right? The best part about this as a software development company is the Microsoft allow you to do something called one-click deployment. At the Visual Studio or the tools you have, you just click deploy, and you go to toilet. You come back within, let's say, a minute, depends on how big the file size. It will just deploy like that. That's another one I never covered in the slide is about staging to productions. A lot of time you do software development, you need to have a staging, right, for you to do testings. For you from staging server, you migrate to a production server, it also one click. You click, they will ask you, are you sure you want to move from the staging to production? You press yes, it will take about just less than a minute. All the file will migrate over easily and it's live. That kind of facilities is really amazing when I saw it for the first time, right? And why Signal R? First of all, it simplified communication mechanism. It's not easy to do from server to client, but they kind of like simplified it. The second one is all the message that's sent out, they structure into the JSON format. For those of you who are using JSON or let's say you prefer XML or something else, JSON actually reduces the file size. When you talk about cloud, when you reduce the file size, it actually means you save you a lot of money. Because when you look at any cloud solution out there, they count by data. Because if you construct your thing in the XML, it charge you more because the data is more, right? So as simple as that, Microsoft kind of like help you to use their so-called their library. It reduces down the cost to host it, right? And simple development, the so-called the development model itself, I strongly recommend you to take a look yourself. I mean, I can't show the code now, but just take a look. It's very straightforward, right? But that, I have 46 seconds, and I'm done. So this is my email. And guys, thank you very much.